We're going to have ourselves a serious conversation today. You ready to run and guns? Time for blast off. Let's go. Hey guys, Todd here with you. Welcome back to Bassin 101. Truck talk of the day. Man, there's just too many worms on the market. There are a lot of plastic worms on the market. I'll give you that. And all of them are just renditions of other models that just come along throughout the years. But when do you use certain kind of worms? Well, talking to some of the old school pros over the years, especially Larry Nixon, many years ago, and just from my experiences, and I'm going to try to do this with some of the worms that are out today that I'm more familiar with because they're still available. You can get them. The most versatile worm that you can get your hands on, I still say, regardless, is a straight tail worm. And I find them there's really not much of a place you can't use a straight tail worm, or even a rigging that you can't use a straight tail worm. But they have their place. If you've got really clear water, a straight tail worm is a really good choice. Now there's other styles too. Well, if you have grass, well, a lot of times a ribbon tail is considered a really good grass type bait. A culprit, a 7.5-inch culprit, is a standard for grass. There's other ribbon tails in the market too, but that's just the first thing that pops in my head as a culprit. But what if you got a heavy brush? Well, that's when you're wanting a wide tail worm, big curl tail worm, one that just recently, I think, is becoming extinct, but I think you can still find them here and there, is the Zoom G tail. Now, that's just their version of a gator tail. That's where the G comes from. But that type of worm, something that's got a big tail. But I'll tell you another worm that I've also done really well in brush has been the Berkeley power worm. Now, a lot of you guys consider that worm to be a ribbon tail, and it can be. But it's a thicker plastic, it's a thicker tail, and man, does it put out the vibration. So for me, that's a good short, big curl tail type worm that I'll throw around cover. And usually it's in shallower water. We'll say shallow water up to about 10 to 15 feet deep. And a dark color. Blue fleck, electric grape, some kind of black or a purple. It's just fine. But if the Zoom G tail is not up your alley, definitely a Berkeley power worm. What about just standard open water Texas rigging? Well, Mr. Twister Phenom's hard to beat. But I'll tell you what, I've done better on a Mr. Twister that had a different color tail on it than I ever did with a regular tail. Straight, let's say all watermelon or all grape, all black. Even the bloodline stuff was always hit and miss with me over the years. Although I do love the black and blue, which is, those color schemes are gone. It's only a 45, 50 year run. Who buys them anymore? But like a black and blue tail, purple fire tail, watermelon with the tail dipped in a little bit of chartreuse or maybe even a little bit of orange. I've always done better with the twisters like that. Whether you're open water fishing looking for brush piles, or even if you're fishing really stained and muddy water, black and chartreuse and black and blue are really good baits for that. But styles of worms. Well, what about small worms? Like one that pops in my head is a standard ringworm, 4-inch curltail ringworm. For me, I like a worm like that when you got steep banks, especially bluff walls. or just real steep, 45-degree and steeper. And I'll throw them on a little 16th ounce jig head, or a real small, say about a number 1 or a 1/0 EWG type worm hook, and a 16th ounce weight. Keep it light. But they work really well. If you want a little 4-inch curl-tail worm. But yeah, styles of worms, I hope that helps you guys a little bit, especially those of you that are not real familiar with worms, because I know some guys that don't throw worms at all. Because it's too confusing with the different styles that are out there and the 100 million colors and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's too confusing. But you can simplify it. You can make it easy. You got your grass worms, you got your open water worms, you got your cover worms, and there's just, for some reason, it's just the tail design, the body design that just seems to work for that situation, whether it offers the same or the right type of vibration. I don't know. But hands down, they seem to work very well. If any of you guys have had the old original gator tail worms with the big curl tail on them, brush, man. Shallow water brush. Can't beat that worm. But they're long, long gone. But I hope this helps you guys out. I hope this helps you to figure out worms, because it can get complicated. I'm just trying to simplify it for you from what I've experienced and some of the guys I've talked to over the years, what they like best. And there's still some I haven't covered. What about big worms for summertime, stuff like that? I really don't get into those very much. I've got some, but I don't really use them. But I got them. So anyway, guys, till next time, remember, new techniques are trendy, but bass never change. May the Father bless you and keep you in Yeshua's name, and as always, fish on.